Hey guys, I'm Michael Allen, one of the academic advisors in the Exploratory Advising Center. I'm here with Robert T. Arnold, a former Exploratory student himself and peer advisor with the Exploratory Center, here to help you out. We're going to show you, this is kind of a series of videos that we're going to use to help you out leading up to registration for your first semester of classes at Auburn. This one is specifically to show you how to look up classes on AU Access. Pretty basic function. We're going to use Rob's screen. He's going to do a screen share really quick. This is just simply looking up any class on AU Access. Not everybody does this a ton anymore since Tiger Scheduler came about, but this is still something I think you really need to know for Camp War Eagle specifically, especially for the sake of looking up for backup sections of classes and backup classes in particular. So let's go to the look up classes button. So if you're on the My Academics tab of AU Access, this is where you live as an Auburn student, basically. There's this registration and advising column that's very important. Rob's clicking look up classes. Here he's on his Duo page. Y'all won't be doing this at Camp Regal, I don't think. And we're choosing fall 2021 and clicking submit. And our example is going to be history. Let's look at World History 1, history being Rob's area of expertise. And we'll click course search. I don't advise you to click advanced search. I don't see anybody do that hardly ever, but it's a lot more efficient here leading up to Camp Regal registration just to look up classes just using the course search button. So we'll do World History 1, and we're going to click on View Sections. And this shows us a list of every section available. And when I say the word section, you might not know what that means. That is every available time slash instructor slash location of a class. So you can see this World History 1 has a lot of sections offered, which is nice. And so this might be a lot to take in. This might be a little bit overwhelming. Let's scroll all the way down to the bottom of this page just to quickly show them, Rob, one of the features. And y'all might use this, you might not. There's a register and add to worksheet button that you'll know a little bit more about later. You can also click new search down here if you ever want to start over with the search function. But let's just get a basic look at what this page is all about. Let's go back up to the top. So that button or that column on the far left over there, select. For the most part, pretty simple to understand. If you see a C, that means it's closed. That is a closed section. It's one that you're not able to register for anymore. And since Rob is currently able to register because his time ticket for registration is open, for open sections of classes, there's a checkbox right there. So he can just check on that. Leading up to registration, though, before your time ticket is open, it's going to say SR, and I believe that just means seats remaining. So if you see SR or a checkbox, that means that there's openings in the class. The next column is CRN. That is course registration number. That is the most important thing you're going to look at on this page. Course registration number is the 5-digit number that you type into the box on the add or drop classes page to actually get registered for a class. So when you're registering for a class, you don't type in History 1010 section 201 at Tuesday, Thursday, 9:30. You don't do that. You just type in 10247 to get registered for this particular section of the class. Pretty simple. It makes it a lot easier to just type in those 5 numbers and click submit. So whenever you see a section that you want to try to register for, you're jotting down those 5 digits. So CRN is very important. And then subject is the next column, pretty simple, HIST. And course, obviously, that's the course number, 1010. And section, that's the next one. Every class has different section numbers. Every section has its own associated number. For the most part, they're just going to be digits like you see here, 001, 002. But there's a few exceptions that are a little bit that are a little bit different. Let's see. Oh, good. We have both examples that are important here. So you see that one that Rob is pointing at, that D01. This is new this year. If you see a D at the beginning of a section number, that means it's a distance class, which means it's online. So look out for that. And just below that is GL. If you see that in a section number, that means it's an Auburn Global section of a class. And that's just for Auburn Global students. And y'all are not Auburn Global students. You probably don't know what that is. So don't worry about it. You just can't register for that class, for that section of that class. And then there's a few others, LA1, LA2. That means that it's just for liberal arts students. But yeah, for the most part, it's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. So let's go back up to the top. Next important one is CRED, credits. That's just the number of credit hours that it is. Most classes are 3 hours worth of credit. Some exceptions are some sciences, or sciences are generally 4 hours. A few classes are 2 hours. Labs are going to be 1 hour. The sciences can make things kind of iffy, kind of confusing, but you'll get it figured out. The title of a class is right there. And next is days. That's one that can be kind of tricky as a freshman. You see TR right there, that one that Rob is looking at, that is Tuesday, Thursday. So when you see an R, that means Thursday. So TR, you might be tempted to think that means Thursday, but T is Tuesday and R is Thursday. So keep that in mind when you're looking at class times. If you were to see MTW, that would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, if that helps you out a little bit. So when you see TR, there's a ton of classes that are Tuesday, Thursday, like this one. And then you have the time of the class. And then after that is CAP. That's another big one. That is the capacity of a class, also refers to Dr. Craig Kaplowitz, our director. But mostly here, it means the capacity of the class. That's how many spots total there are in a class. So next to that, though, is ACT, which is active. That's how many people are currently enrolled in it. And so that kind of gives you a feel for this one that Rob's looking at, this top one. Under active, that has 40, and the capacity is also 40. So 40 out of 40 of the spots are filled. So that's why it's closed, which it indicates over there on the select column. That's how you know that it's a closed class. That kind of gives you a feel for that. And so an example of one that's open, how about that one down there, Rob, section 006? If you look at that, there's only 7 under active, and a capacity of 40. So there's only 7 people enrolled in that section, and I guess it's because it's at 8 a.m. So that's kind of my guess there. Going to be a pretty empty Haley 2370 there. So that next one is REM, remaining. That's how many spots there are remaining. So you don't have to do that math yourself. So there's 33 spots left in that section. The rest of the stuff we don't need to think about until we get to instructor. That's the name of the professor of the class or the instructor of the class. Don't really have a lot of time during all this to be looking up professors and instructors on Rate My Professor. It can be kind of tricky to be doing that anyway. But when you're in the busyness of getting registered for your first semester during Camp War Eagle season, that could be a lot. But here you have their names. You can always use that in the future when you're like Rob and you're higher up and you have a little bit more time to play around with your schedule. And then we have date. That's just how long the semester lasts. And then big one there is location. That's where the class is located. Most of these, they actually can spell out the full name of the building, Haley, Thatch. But there's a few that have to be shortened, like that one, LNGDN, that's Langdon. So if you see one of those and you don't really get what it means, let one of us know, let me, let Rob, or any of the advisors in the Exploratory Center know. We can help you try to figure it out. And next is attributes. This is a new thing this year. It used to be that students didn't really have to pay attention to attributes. But this is a different way, just like we were noticing that a class was distance or online, seeing that D in the section number. Now you can actually see whether a class is in person or online if you're looking at the attributes. And all of these here that Rob is looking at now are on campus, they're in-person classes, because you can see that first attribute says campus right there, the very first thing. And if you scroll down, let's see if we can find what it says for the distance classes next to that D01, D02. All right, so these are both online asynchronous. That's how you know that is an online class that doesn't meet live. That means that the lectures, the notes, and all that stuff is posted to Canvas or whatever learning online platform that the professor uses. So that's an online asynchronous class. And if it was a class that meets via Zoom or something like that on a regular basis throughout the week, it would say online synchronous. So that's how you can tell whether a class is in person or online. And I think that is it as far as the lookup classes page. I think this History 1010 was a pretty good example of covering everything we needed to cover here. Anything I'm forgetting, Rob?
Nope, I think that about covers it.
Well, all right, good deal. Like I said, just always let me know, let Rob know, let anybody in the Exploratory Center know if you have any trouble navigating this, and we'll always be glad to help you out.